I don't know what I was thinking when I did it. Honestly, I didn't even realize how bad it was until the damage was done. I thought I was just looking out for myself, but looking back, I see it was the worst mistake I've ever made. Let me back up. This all started when I found out my wife was hiding something from me. Not just the usual stuff like what she gets me for Christmas or the occasional secret dinner with a friend, but something bigger, way bigger. You see, I've always trusted her. We've been together for almost 10 years, and there's never been any real reason not to. I'm not the jealous type, and I figured we were solid. Sure, we had our issues here and there, like every couple does, but nothing that ever felt like it was heading towards disaster. But then, one day, I stumbled upon something I shouldn't have. It wasn't even a big deal at first, just a random text on her phone. She left it open while she was in the shower. I wasn't snooping, I swear, I just happened to glance at it. The message was from some guy. I didn't recognize the name. The text said something along the lines of, "Can't wait to see you tonight, babe." I froze. My heart skipped a beat. I didn't know what to think. For a second, I thought I was overreacting. Maybe it was some harmless flirtation. Maybe it was just a joke. But deep down, I knew it wasn't just a casual message. Something felt off. I waited. I didn't say anything to her right away. Part of me thought I should just let it go. But the more I thought about it, the more the doubt crept in. What if this wasn't just a small thing? What if there was more? So I did the worst thing I could do. I started snooping. I found more texts. Lots of them. Messages that were way more intimate than I was comfortable with. There were pictures too. Some of them weren't explicitly sexual, but they were suggestive. I didn't know what to do with all of this information. Part of me wanted to confront her, but another part of me was terrified of what I'd find out. I kept it to myself for a few days. I had to process it, but my mind was racing. I couldn't focus on anything else, and when she left for work one day, I decided to go all in. I accessed her email. I found more. I found the name of the guy she was talking to, someone I had never heard of before. And what shocked me the most was that he wasn't just some random person. He was someone from our past, a guy she had dated before we got together. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just a fling or something casual. This was a full-on emotional affair. She had been in contact with him for months. I don't know how it had slipped under my radar for so long, but it had. Now, here's where things get tricky. I've always considered myself the type of guy who wants to fix things, not blow them up. I wasn't ready to throw away a decade of my life with her. We had built a life, a home, a family. But this felt like a betrayal I couldn't ignore. I started to think about what I could do. The rage was building inside me, but I knew if I confronted her head-on, things might spiral out of control. So, I did something I thought would help me get some clarity. I started texting the guy. I wasn't expecting him to be honest with me. I just wanted to see if he would own up to it, or if he'd lie to my face. At first, he didn't respond. Then, a few days later, I got a message back. "Who is this?" he asked. I said, "Let's just say I'm the guy she's supposed to be with." He didn't respond for a while, but then he hit me with something that almost made my blood run cold. "I think you should know this. She's been asking me to meet up with her. She's not happy with you, man. She wants something more." That's when the first crack appeared in my resolve. What was she really telling him? What had she said about me? I tried not to let it get to me, but it was hard. Looking back, I think this was my first big mistake. Instead of cutting it off right then and there, I kept digging. I wanted answers, and the more I uncovered, the worse it got. The conversations between them were getting more intense. They were making plans, not just for one night, but multiple meetups. The worst part, she never told me any of it. She never gave me a reason to think something was wrong, to suspect anything out of the ordinary. I had a choice to make: confront her now, or sit back and wait for the inevitable. But I didn't just want answers, I wanted closure. I wanted her to feel the same shock and betrayal I was feeling. I knew it was petty, but I couldn't help it. So, I planned it out. I decided to show up unannounced, to catch them together. I wasn't proud of it, but I needed the truth. If I was wrong, I could face that. But if I wasn't, well, I needed to know. I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe some sort of dramatic confrontation. Maybe for her to break down and apologize. I guess I thought it would make me feel better. But that was far from what happened. I was pacing in my living room when I got the message. She's here. I'm ready to meet you. Same place as last time. The place was a small coffee shop on the edge of town. It wasn't far, so I didn't waste any time. My hands were shaking and my stomach was in knots. I hadn't planned on how I was going to react once I saw them together. I just knew I had to be there. I drove there, parking down the street so I wouldn't be seen. And then I waited. It felt like forever. Then I saw her, walking into the coffee shop, smiling at someone I didn't recognize. I waited a moment before following them inside. What I saw next is something I'll never forget. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself as I stepped into the coffee shop. The place was busy, but I could spot them easily. She was sitting at a table near the window, laughing, and there he was, the guy. I didn't need to know his name to see the chemistry between them. The way they smiled at each other, the casual touches of hands across the table, it was all too much. My stomach churned. I felt like a complete fool. I never imagined it would look like this. All I had ever wanted was for things to stay the same. For her to be the person I thought I knew. But this was something else. I stood by the door for a moment, just watching them. It was like my brain couldn't process what I was seeing. Every part of me wanted to storm over there, demand an explanation, but I knew if I did that, I'd never get the answers I needed. So, I stayed in the background, just long enough to hear what they were saying. "Yeah," she said, laughing softly. "I told him I was just busy with work. He doesn't even know about you. You know." The guy smiled. "Good. It's better that way. We don't want to complicate things." I could feel the heat rising in my chest. "He doesn't even know about you." That's how far she had gone to keep this from me. She didn't want to complicate things. What the hell had she thought our life was? Just some convenient lie. But then something unexpected happened. She looked down at her phone, and for the briefest moment, I thought she saw me. Her eyes flicked toward the door, where I was standing. I froze. She didn't recognize me right away, but the second she did, her expression changed. A tiny flicker of panic, then a forced smile. She waved her hand at me, trying to act casual. "Oh hey, what's up?" Her voice was too high-pitched, to fake. I stood still, my pulse racing. I was so close to losing it, to making a scene. But I knew this was it. This was the moment where everything would fall apart. So, I did something that I still can't explain. I walked in, slowly, deliberately, like I had all the time in the world. I didn't look at her, only at him. I didn't want to show her any of my emotions. I just needed him to feel the weight of what was happening. He stood up when I walked over, but he didn't say anything right away. I could tell he didn't expect me to show up. He wasn't ready to face me. The silence between us was unbearable. And then, finally, I spoke. "You've been meeting my wife behind my back. You think I wouldn't find out?" He shifted, looking at her for a moment before looking back at me. There was no defensiveness in his voice, no apology. He just nodded slowly. "Yeah, I guess I did." I stared at him, shocked by how casually he said it. No guilt, no remorse, just a straight-up admission. He didn't seem to care about the damage he had caused. But the thing that hit me the hardest was the look on her face, the way her eyes darted around the room, unable to meet mine. She knew she'd been caught. For a long moment, there was silence. No one said anything. It felt like the entire world had stopped moving. And then, she finally spoke. I never wanted you to find out like this," she said quietly. Almost too quietly, but the damage was already done. She was caught. She couldn't deny it anymore. I didn't know what to say. I had so many questions running through my mind, but none of them seemed to matter anymore. I was here. She was here. And this was happening. What now? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She shook her head. "I don't know." She looked at him for a moment before turning back to me. "I never meant for any of this to happen. It just did." I couldn't even process what I was hearing. I didn't know if I should feel relieved that she was being honest with me or furious that it had taken this long. Everything felt so out of control. At that point, I wasn't sure what I wanted anymore. I didn't know if I wanted to yell at her, to scream at him, or to just walk away and never look back. But then something else happened, something I didn't see coming. She stood up, leaving me with him. There was a brief, almost too quick exchange of glances between the two of them, and she walked toward the door. I didn't know if she was coming back or if she was just running away from the mess she had created. I turned to him. So, what do you think is going to happen now? He leaned back in his chair and exhaled. I don't know, man, but I'm not going anywhere. She's been clear with me. We've got something. For the first time, I really looked at him. I saw the confidence in his eyes, the entitlement. He didn't think he was in the wrong. And for some reason, that pissed me off more than anything else. This guy, who wasn't even in my life a few weeks ago, now thought he had a right to tell me how things were going to go. But it wasn't him I was worried about anymore. It was her. The next few days were a blur. We didn't speak. I didn't know what to say to her. I couldn't stop thinking about that day in the coffee shop. I couldn't shake the image of her walking out on me like that. Some people say I went too far by confronting them both like I did. Others think I didn't go far enough, that I should have fought for her, or at least tried to make her see what she was about to lose. But here's the thing, I don't know what the hell I should have done. It felt like everything was out of my hands. Looking back, I wonder if confronting her, confronting him, was a mistake. Maybe I should have just walked away. But now, I'm not so sure. So, I'm asking you, Reddit, what do I do now? Do I try to salvage this relationship? Or is it time to cut my losses and walk away? Some people say there's still hope. Others think I should move on and never look back. I'm honestly torn. I don't even know what's the right thing anymore.